stream. You hear this shit, people? Alright, hey, how's it going, everyone? Frostbite here, and of course, you know him, Warwolf here. He's always in my name. My game talks.
I know, right?
Right? So, this game talk in general, I'm not talking about this game, but I am talking about all games in simulator games in a nutshell.
We're having a candid discussion about simulators and
there we go.
How
and
they
it
work
just,
and how
just
they
happens
operate.
to be the gameplay is going to be focused on Car Mechanics Simulator 2021.
Figure Car Mechanics probably the most popular simulation game that there is out there right now, as of the recording of this. Microsoft Flight Sim is probably maybe it's sort of bigger, but yeah, you have to be that. Simulation games, they're a genre of their own. So. The topics of discussion now. I mean, this is take it away. It's your show.
I mean, we'll just start off like there is a in recent years there has been a metric ass on PC. I mean, you got stuff where you got like Pigeon Simulator, Hobo Simulator, freaking.
Cop Simulator. There's
PlayStation VR's got Job Simulator.
Yeah.
Fucking. They got stupid shit. They even got like a Power Washer Simulator.
If there is a thing that they can simulate, they will simulate it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
simulate it, they will come.
One of the recent ones I seen, which was kind of cool, but at the same time, I was like, oh man, that was what was it, shipyard graveyard or something like that, ship graveyard.
Yeah,
simulator. I was like, huh.
the tank simulator one had my attention, but I mean, when you.
So I've seen a ton of these simulators pop up over the years. I remember probably one of the first ones that I seen was Microsoft Flight Simulator way back in the day, and then all of a sudden they kind of just fell off because people are like, well, I want to do something that's more fancy, or I want to do something that's like race car driver. You are a career inside that type of a thing. I don't want to just have it like be a simulator, but also the technology wasn't there either. So something like Microsoft Flight Sim, it was cool, but it was very limited what you could do with it anyways. It wasn't realistic. I mean, it was for the time, but you look at it back on it now, and it's like it's just like, it looks like an arcade game. So then years later, of what I remember being like the first one that really took off for simulators was Goat Simulator, and it was just because it was like this hee-hee-ha-ha funny thing. It's what caught everybody's attention. Oh, you can take this goat and just, it's almost Goat Simulator. Okay, here's blast from the past for you. To me, Goat Simulator was a copy and paste of Katamari Damacy. If you remember that old game, where you take the Katamari ball and you would tumble it and grab everything off the ground and whatnot. You just keep making this big ball of junk, essentially, and rack up the points that way. And then Goat Sim was kind of like also kind of Saints Row too, with the car insurance fraud thing, where you just ragdoll yourself and traps and everything.
Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Welcome to Goat Sim.
I forgot which one game had that.
But that was Goat Simulator. Like, you're trying to wreck everything while also throwing yourself and ragdoll physics, into the environment and all that. But we've come a long way since those days of Goat Sim. I also remember, here's actually one from even farther back. PS1 had a Japanese, I had this on a demo disc. It was a Japanese restaurant simulator. So you're chopping up sushi and you're putting soda into the glasses. You had to put almost like Overcooked, where you had to put like the stuff on the conveyor belts and everything. And you would just be making these Japanese dishes, put it on the conveyor belt, and it'd go off. I had a demo of that. It was a ton of fun, chopping stuff up and everything. But yeah, then like I said, years later, Goat Sim comes around, and then everybody's over it. But now we are just in this, like I said, we're in this age of just a ton of simulators. Everything has a simulator for it. Some better, some worse, I would say. There's some simulators, like you said, you brought up the tank simulator.
Yeah.
I tried it, and now me, I've been kind of against simulators. I'm like, why bother have simulators when it's just because the way that they try and make the simulator. If I don't feel like I'm learning something, if it's not a learning tool, then what the hell's the sense of it? You know, it's not a game, then make it a learning tool. It's kind of like PC Builder. That's another pretty popular one out there right now, where you can actually learn how to take apart and put together PCs and whatnot. Car Mechanic does the same thing, where it's like all these little bits and pieces.
Your personal favorite with the hell was it, the motorcycle mechanic?
Yeah. Motorcycle mechanic, I think. Yes, it is. 21. That just came out on PC. Roughly, it was end of last month. I still need to do a stream of it sometime.
Yeah. And then we had that,
but yeah,
that dirty, guilty pleasure of House Flipper.
yeah, that was went up, and it was because people started thinking about where it's like the HDTV craze of like the reality TV. Well, you were kind of playing that, but at the same time, as soon as you were kind of inside that show with House Flipper, it was also got you thinking of like, how would I want to shape a house? How would I put cupboards over here? Would I put this wall over there? And it sounds really stupid on paper, but when you get into it, it's just like, well, shit, I'm going to make this room wood paneling all over the place. I'm going to paint this other room over here. I'm going to, make two rooms out of this one, or knock down this wall and make it one big bedroom or something. And just it's something that should not be fun and interesting, but it's one of the age-old things of like, you're building something. So of course, you're trying to see how the puzzle pieces fit together, just like you're doing right here, like trying to take pieces off, build, grab new pieces, put it all together. Again, though, like where I don't know, it was just something about like, so this right here is Car Mechanic is a good example of how to do it the right way. Also Motorcycle Mechanic, because those two are very, very similar. It's not tedious. It's not a ton of menu work. You can click on a part and it adds it to a list, and then you can just click on a couple other, 2 button presses. You're in there buying the part. You can buy them in bulk if you want to. If you got the cash, you can do all that stuff. Tank Simulator, it was a lot of just like tedious menu work, and then also, instead of like unscrewing pieces and whatnot, the piece just disappeared, so you didn't get to see like how many screws does it take to put this one piece in there. And just
really,
to me, I feel like the Car Mechanic Simulator, it gives you more of a appreciation and understanding of mechanic work.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that really caught my attention of like, wow, okay, this is how you take apart a car. Strip it right down to the whole thing. And then, of course, also when you're rebuilding, you get your money up there and you start rebuilding the cars and making them into an image.
You go out to the junkyard or the freaking auction house. And you go
go
buy
through the
yourself
whole
a junker and you're
experience
stripping that thing down, completely down, building it from the ground up, slapping a new engine
dirty,
in it.
Freaking just mud-ridden car that's missing a tire and a fender and a damn scratches all over and everything else, and just the fact that you can take all the rust off of it, you can clean all the dust and dirt off from it, and then all of a sudden you have this like shiny base of a vehicle there, and then you can just rebuild that vehicle up to however you want it to be looking. I mean, you are limited. Like, that is one thing with Car Mechanic Simulator. You are limited on what you can actually do.
Yeah, but at least, I mean,
they're going to add more stuff.
And I mean, they added in the difference between 2018 and 2021 is they added in some new shit. Like, you're working with the I mean, the only thing that I'm glad that they didn't put in here is the fact is hose work. That would drive me up the damn wall. I mean,
it could be coming.
Oh God, no!
It could be a future patch thing. They might be working on it right now. You have no idea. No, but the thing is, I wouldn't mind if they do go that far with it, because it's like it just shows. It's more of a teaching tool. I think that's probably one of the best. Like I said, that's one of the best aspects of these. Is it catches your attention, because it's like, oh, if I'm ever stuck in a situation, now I know how this and this and this and this and this go together. Hell, I would love to see a guitar building simulator. That'd be awesome. like sanding down the wood grains and trying to put fit the right necks with the right bodies and making the pickups work the right way, and pulling the wiring through, and soldering the pots on and all that stuff. Put the tuners in, strings, the alignment, all that. Or the how far up the strings are from the fretboard and all that stuff. Like, you can do some really cool stuff with something like that.
Oh yeah.
But again, there is multiple different versions of simulator games. So this is one. This is like taking apart.
This one's This one, like, at first I was like, car mechanic simulator, and I kind of like, what? I think what was it? Your dad or Viper was playing it? You were playing it?
I checked it out on the PC just to see what the hell it was, because it popped up on the radar. I'm like, well, taking apart cars and putting them together. I do like racing cars, and I've never actually gotten into the whole tuning process of it and how you put them together. Because I was wondering, how does this work? And could they add something like this to like a Need for Speed? So I checked it on the PC, and I was like, this is kind of fun. I keep going on here for like an hour or two and doing this thing. And then I saw that it was on the PlayStation, and so Viper ended up picking up a copy of it, and then we've been hooked on this damn thing ever since.
Yeah,
it's stupidest game to be hooked
really on, hard to put this game down. I'm not gonna lie.
You get one car done, you're like, man, I want to do another one.
Yep.
It's just like,
so you start playing and it's like
4 hours later. And
4 or 5 hours later, you're just like,
what?
What happened to the time? Huh?
So another type of simulator, though, so we don't just keep this about car mechanic. I highly recommend car mechanic, though.
Yes.
Also, motorcycle mechanic if you're on the PC. And PC Builder also is available on console and PC. But the other type of simulators are, of course, the kind of job simulator type of a game, which is more or less like your farm sims, your flight sims, your what else is there? Like a gas station.
Yeah, I'm going to check that game out. Can get my hands on it.
They have a blacksmith. I'm actually gonna look for that. I'm gonna see if I can find that. Because I will get a hold of those people and be like, "Where's my guitar maker? I want a guitar, bass, and maybe a drum maker. Let's do that." But yeah, so you all, like I said, you have SnowRunner is even or MudRunner and SnowRunner. Probably you could even call those simulators too.
Well, that's also known as fucking a lot of what I've seen online is people like to call that one fucking stuck simulator. Because that's 90% of the game is getting stuck and then trying to figure out how to get unstuck.
Your grapple hook is your winch is your best friend.
Well, when you don't got anything to winch onto, or your winch won't pull you.
Yeah, I know, but even still, you go grab your other truck and pull your ass through the
mud. We might, honestly speaking of that, we might, during my break here, Christmas break from work, we're talking about maybe try to co-op that, do a little co-op stream on that for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I think they just, what is it? Maybe part of the Season Pass or something, but they just added like Montana or something.
Oh, I don't know. I had like
something like that.
Fucking
brand
and we got like literal ice out there.
Yeah.
I was like driving around and I'm just like all over the place trying to climb a hill with it's nothing but an ice slick, and I'm just like, oh.
you need the right tires for it. But yeah, that's like, like SnowRunner, it will teach you, if you have the right height on your vehicle and you have the right tires on your vehicle, then you can end up getting through snow way easier and such. And, some people have never lived in an area where there's snow, so it teaches them, stuff like that. But like I said, I think the best simulators are a teaching mechanic, but also at the same time easy to jump in and, I don't know if hard to master is really a part of it, but easy to jump into is definitely but at the same time, don't make it too simple to where it's not like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like Car Mechanic Simulator 2022, or 2021, excuse me. When you start up the game, you have your options of easy, normal, and expert. Easy mode, basically, it tells you everything that's wrong with the cars. You don't got to figure it out yourself. Normal mode, it starts out like, okay, this and this is wrong with the car, fix it. And then it goes to, it tells you it's like that, and then you got to figure out as you go. And then there's
It's
expert
like
mode where it don't tell you shit. It don't even show you where the bolts are or anything like that. You gotta do all that yourself. Which I haven't done in the expert mode. I'm not that crazy. Because there's so many little bolts and nuts and everything I can cross all this stuff. I mean, it'd be so easy to miss like one and get just like, ah!
I can tell you one thing though. Car mechanic is probably a little bit easier even than like PC mechanic once you actually start getting into PC mechanic. PC.
Well, yeah, you gotta make sure you have the proper power, the proper motherboard, all that stuff.
Well,
no, the whole
it's
thing
not
is
even
just gonna
that.
explode
Like,
on you.
that's the easy part, though. That's the easy part. The hard part is actually getting stuff in on time because you have to wait for delivery time, and there's also shipping fees, and then you can't go over budget of what they set for you and the budget of repairing their PC with. So then you have to shop parts and fit it into the budget, and then make sure that the parts get there on time. Yeah, PC mechanic is like, or PC builder is like, it's like on another level than this. But that's the other thing with, that's one of those things with simulator games. Every single one of them is different. They all have their little quirks and such. Something like SnowRunner has a whole modding store that you can, like, they're all free mods that you can get of different trucks and such. Car Mechanic 2018 has a whole bunch of licensed vehicles in it. 21 has more parts that you're working with. So they all have their different little niches and everything. I think another one, like, I think people would probably get kind of mad and feel like we left it up. We didn't talk about something like like the military simulator type of games. I'm trying to think of.
I was gonna say Arma's pretty good on that one.
Yeah. I know there's an American Army one. There's Arma. There's a few others.
You dig through my YouTube, you can probably find some videos of me playing Arma with an old friend that I don't really talk to anymore.
But like I said, those are, that's a whole other, because they have like subgenres of these simulators games. But
like, I mean,
but
there's you got simulators like this that are good for learning, and then you got simulators that are just good screw around fun, like the pigeon simulator, the hobo simulator, stuff like that.
My only problem
VR
is those
sports
last
bar. That's that
minutes.
one I've always wanted to play. Just because, sit there and start throwing darts at random people, get into a bar fight, all kinds of crazy shit.
I seen the House Flipper in VR, and I was just like, oh no. But then I seen House Flipper in VR is not that good. But
I wouldn't think it was.
VR. Flight Sim VR is like crazy. Like it's like you're looking out the plane windows and all that stuff. It's you can look into the back of the planes because it's all photo made. Another one that I guess you could kind of consider to be somewhat of a simulator is like Star Wars Squadron. It's a simulation of what it's like to fly the X-wings and just be a fighter pilot in Star Wars and everything. So that's pretty much a full-on VR experience. I'm pretty sure it's only. Wait, no, that one has a VR mode built into it. That's right. But yeah, that's, like I said, there's so many different simulator games, and I'm kind of wondering at what point do they take something like a Car Mechanic and they mix it together with Need for Speed. And then we have something where it's like you're building your car from scratch. I mean, they have one in the works. There is one game I've actually I beta tested it, and it's I can talk about it because it is actually public knowledge. I wasn't underneath NDA or anything when I was playing it. But basically, you get a call up from your buddy that lives down the street, and he's like, "Yo, I need a car built for the race tonight." And then he brings over his car, and you just start flipping out like engine parts and such to make his car hit a certain threshold. um, which is like the requirement for the race or something like that. And then he goes and takes it and goes racing. And I think once you get a little bit farther into it, you end up getting you build your own car, and then you take it out to the streets, and you start racing for pink slips and everything. So like there's the problem is when I did do so the story is just very minimal. I'll say that. I thought that the overall package deal of it was really cool, but it just makes me like curious to see what a big budget studio like an EA could do with this design mixed with their really good racing mechanics. And of course the story that EA usually puts out there is top notch also. So I'm just curious to see like in the future if we could do something like that. Motorcycle mechanic also is really cool. Oh, actually another one you could actually say is more or less simulation type of games too, is something like a Forza, Gran Turismo, the F1 games, the Ride 4 that looks amazing, especially when you go into like first person with the GoPro on the helmet mode. It'll blow you away just how much that game looks realistically. There's a video on YouTube that has like 1 million views on it because this person, like, he put it on just like high settings, not even like ultra or anything. He's put it on high settings and it looks so damn realistic. It's awesome. I don't remember what engine it's running on, but it looks great. But that is, like I said though, that's one of those things with the simulation games. Like, it's sometimes you get them if it's something like a goat sim and you're not into that, go check out something like a car mechanic. If you're not into that, go check out something like flight sim. If you're not into that, go check out something like like Ride 4. There's something, and that's, like I said, I was totally against these simulators because it was just like, man, it just feels like such a waste of talent. Like, it's okay, so they made a game that can do all this stuff, add a story mode to it and some cutscenes, and it was the reason to build up the car and everything, which I think we're in that direction. We're getting there. Like, the next Need for Speed could possibly have all this stuff in it. We've seen it before, Midnight Club. And if you remember Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, you could do everything from the neons to the stereo system in your trunk, and that was really cool. But I don't know where the future of this would be going to.
Yeah, but yeah, God, it's only been a half an hour. Not even a half hour. We're pretty much. God, I don't know. Like, I already kind of covered like fucking what makes a good simulator, because you got your screw around simulators and you get your learning simulators. I mean,
comes down to your personal preference, right?
Yeah. You got the flight simulator, which that one's apparently based off like Google Earth or something like that.
So it's Bing Maps, because Microsoft Bing. So they take Bing Maps, and it actually like photorealistically from the cameras that go around the Earth and everything. Mm-hmm. It literally zooms in and it actually maps into the game what the photo. So you can actually use the photography or whatever you want to call it from Bing Map, and you overlay, basically texture overlay into the game. So you can actually go in there, you can actually cache the data up to where it maps out in Flight Sim. Like, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You can just press play and just start flying and everything. They do have like handmade, like the pyramids, and London, England. Actually, when you're running around in Watchdog Legion, if you go over to, it's one of the landmarks there. Sorry to anyone who lives in England, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like one of the royal palaces or something.
Buckingham Palace.
I don't think it's Buckingham. It's the other one. It's like the the hell is it called? I think it's where they do plays and stuff. Because yeah, Buckingham, that's like where the Queen lives, if I'm not mistaken. And you have like a
I know which one you're
theater
talking about. It's the one that there's a trophy
right
for
next
that
to
you
a
dress up
bridge.
like one of the guards and royal guards and get to sneak in there.
Actually, yeah, it's one of the takeover missions, matter of fact, because when the camera pans over, I was like, oh shit, I flew over this in Flight Sim, because I was checking out England, like London, England, because Watchdog Legion and everything, and yeah, it's like, you know, just to see the simulation of like flying over the top of those, you know, it's like if you want to fly over the top of New York and get like a bird's eye view, of course I would, you know, I wouldn't want to see any flights going over the top of New York really that close to the buildings
Yeah.
ever.
Especially with all that shit that just went down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 9/11's still heavily in my memory, so that was like that was a couple hours away from me where I was living.
Wow.
So, oh yeah, I remember that. Hardcore, that is burned into my brain for life. That morning. But yeah, like just, you know, that or just flying over top of, so like Assassin's Creed, you know, like where you're to fly over the same places that you're running around in roughly in Assassin's Creed that they, you know, recreated of Italy and Wales and England and, you know, Egypt and, you know, all those different places, Greece and all that stuff. Matter of fact, in the future, I don't know when it might happen. It might never happen, but I really want to go on the same flight pattern plan that Amelia Earhart did and actually complete it, because they do have a plane that's pretty close to her Locklear aircraft that she flew, and actually do like around the world and see how long it's going to. It'd probably take. When I did a rough estimate of it, it would take probably about, if I did like 30 to 40 minutes. Like, and this is the size of certain simulators. 30 to 40 minutes would be from one airport to the other airport. It might even take an hour for some of those flights. And if I did the full, all the way around the world, it would take roughly about 30 to 40 hours to do
Oof.
it.
It's a hell of a flight.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the reason why she went down, because, you know, that much gasoline and everything to fly it. But again, like, it's just, you know, if you're not into simulators, I would say just keep an eye out on all of them, because I was hardcore not in simulators at all. I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. It just so happened to be like the PC building simulator, the car mechanic simulator, just because it sparked some attention. I'm like, I'll just give it a try.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks so stupid.
It started with me with like, what the hell was that? I was like, played that Job Simulator VR on the PlayStation VR. Snow Runner, actually. Like, I saw you on Mud Runner, like some video, like you were driving and like lost your load of logs, and like, ooh, that looks actually kind of fun, and picked it up, and it kind of got me, started getting me big into simulator games. Like I played Gold Simulator back in the day. I mean, who didn't?
I did. I didn't dare. I'm like, no, I would not. I went against the grain. I'm like, no. But yeah, like I said, it's certain simulator games will click with just other ones. They're just like, they're not, you know, like the tank simulator. It just did not click with me. I got bored.
I was like,
I didn't feel like I was learning anything.
At first, I was like, yeah, cool, okay, tank simulator, go check it out. I checked it up on YouTube, and I was like, I don't know about this. And you were talking about, I was like, I saw a lot of menu management shit, and I'm like,
yeah.
And then you were like, yeah, it's like Model Tank Simulator. It's like, oh god.
Yeah. Because it's like, for whatever reason, it feels like they went halfway with the animation. Like this one, you see where it's like all these screws and little bits and pieces that you put in there. For Tank Sim, for whatever reason, it just felt like it's like the pieces. It's not like you're fitting the pieces in there and then screwing them in. They just appear. They're just there, and you don't really screw them in or anything. They just bloop, and they pop up there. I'm like, I don't know about that. And then I played like car mechanic, or played a motorcycle mechanic, and it was more like this, where like it fits the piece into the space, and then it takes you 4 screws to get this in here. It's like, I feel like I could learn how to build a full-on motorcycle off of that. which is, that's just keeps my attention way more, I guess. I don't know. It's like I said, certain things. There's certain things about it. If there's too much menu management, that's going to really just
going to kill it. Yeah.
Out.
The one I'm actually interested in getting my hands on or checking out is Mech Mechanic Simulator. Because I'm big into the Mech Warrior series. I mean, you guys you can see my stream for Mech Warrior 5. Which I'll probably be doing a game talk on that here in the near future as well.
I actually have a copy of it on the PC because Game Pass is on there. Like I've tried mech games in the past, like a few times over again, and I'm just like, okay, I blow everything up and nothing else is happening. I'm just like, I just don't care after like 2 missions. I'm just like, I'm bored. But
I mean, it's each their own on this stuff. I don't know. Jesus Christ.
I think that's your guilty pleasure, just like WWE games of mine.
Yeah. I'll check out the new WWE when it comes out. I mean, I'm trying to get a...
Actually,
I'm gonna probably wait till I get a PS5. Fucking
shit. That's actually another type of sim game right there. Is your Fight Night, your UFC, your WWE. Sports games are basically sim games. Also, they're your Maddens, your all that stuff. We've had stuff like Blitz games and stuff like that in the past, but yeah, anything that's like FIFA or Madden or any of that's a whole other genre of simulator game. So, if you're a sports nut, you've probably played simulator games and you don't even realize it. That's I used to get yelled at all the time for that too, because I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I play fighting games." And they're like, "We're not talking about like UFC or boxing or WWE." I'm like, "But they're fighting games. You're playing in them." And everybody's like, "No, that's not the same." I still consider them to be fighting games, but yes, okay, one's similar, one's arcade.
They are fighting games. I mean, you're beating the crap out of each other. It's not like you'll finish him or fucking combo.
Yes, there's a big difference between there is a difference between arcade and sim fighting games, but I mean, they're still fucking fighting games. That was where I was just like, But it's like, stimulating. And that's one of those things, like, for somebody who, like, I know I'd never play in NFL. I would have no... I just wouldn't care to. But Madden gives me the chance to...
I was going to say, the last one I really played was probably on the Genesis. The second of Sega, like Madden. We played that.
Another one, too, like, people are going to hate me for saying this, but FIFA is fucking awesome when you put the camera right on the player's shoulder and you're like running through the crowd and you're just trying to, because if you just barely tap the kick button or whatever, you have to do it just the right way, because if you tap it more than like 2 seconds, the ball just goes flying. And you have to also aim it while you're running and then just barely tap it to get just the right oomph on the kick and everything. But FIFA, like, if you set it up the correct way, it is one hell of an adrenaline rush. And it makes you actually have to learn, like, okay, here's how you have to actually control the ball, and here's how you work with teammates and everything on the field. Same way with with your football, you have to learn how to, and basketball too, like the NBA 2K games. If somebody's just playing it with like the sideline camera, that's one thing. But if you put that camera right on the court, I mean, it's just like all the awareness of where your teammates are and just how good timing on throwing the shot up and everything. You have to learn so much of like how to actually do the sport in simulators, and that's one of those things that, again, where it's like, okay, how do I put the pieces of the puzzle together to make this work with my setup and my style that I'm trying to go with. Basketball is like, okay, do I want to be the 3-point guy or do I want to drive it in and do the Jordan thing where I dunk it and everything? It's like you have to learn how to do it though.
Hold up,
you can't just drive to.
I just looked over and saw this. Dr. Death, thank you for the follow, by the way. Appreciate that.
Hey, Dr. Death.
Sorry I don't have the bells and whistles that I wish I had.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely an interesting thing of all the especially when they can bring in somebody who is just totally, because like I said, when I saw Goats in there, I'm like, what the hell? That's such a waste of time. What the hell's the point of it? I could be over here doing Saints Row, blowing stuff up, having a cool story mode to go along with it, play co-op and everything else. But then, like I said, then it's like, car mechanic comes along, and I'm over here like, yeah, I can't do another car. And SnowRunner also is like, okay, which one of these trucks can I use to try and like...
Yeah, which one of these trucks is going to be the best for doing what I'm trying to do? And,
yeah.
And which one of these scout vehicles is the better one for this area? So, I mean, you got Michigan at the starter. You got Michigan. You got Alaska. And then you got Russia. Michigan is kind of like a mix of like really bad washed out roads. There's one part where you're going out and basically you're just driving around in a swamp in one of the areas for that. Then of course Alaska, it's all snow. you need your lift kits, your snow tires, and
See, the original Mud Runner, I'm pretty sure was Russia. It was like in Chernobyl area. Like it was totally all that setup. And seeing now, I still say Chernobyl.
It's still Runner. It's still freaking. It's nothing but. Right. It's no Runner. Russia's nothing but a freaking mud pit.
Yeah. In Mother Russia, the mud eats you.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the flip side of that too, another simulator that just popped in the brain is like NASCAR games. Those are mega simulators.
Yeah, left turn simulator.
Well, until you jump into it, and you have to start like feeling the track, and you actually have to like consider how to run your tires, how to run your fuel, how to actually draft the right way, and control the car inside the turn, especially while you're doing the draft and everything. Like NASCAR is no joke. A lot of people make fun of it for being a lot of left turns, but when you're doing 200 some odd miles an hour and you're trying to get a draft and just bumping people slightly, just to pushing your own teammates up there and everything, and then you have to hit the line just right to kind of try and zip past everyone.
I'd go screw around on the speed track and stuff, but I don't have a car of my own right now to go do it on. just to kill a little bit of time. Anything else you can think of? I mean, we can make this a shorter one because it's about the simulator games, and I mean, there's not.
Yeah, I mean, I think the consensus of the whole thing was just like different simulators and I think the do's and don'ts of the simulators, the recap of the do's and don'ts, I'd say don't add a ton of menu management, but the details on how, if you're doing something building wise, like a car mechanic or bike mechanic.
It's real nice if you actually could jump in the. They do another car mechanic game. I swear to God, you give us this tow truck here. Why not let us jump in it, drive around out in the desert or wherever, and go hook up a car and throw it on there and bring it back.
That was one of the dumb things about Tank Mechanic, or Tank Mechanic Simulator, whatever the hell, builder thing, whatever you want to call it. So it was all just pre-canned stuff. It just screen goes black, and then all of a sudden the screen comes back and the tank is on the truck. Instead of actually being able to put it up on the truck yourself and everything, it just did it all for you. I was just like, why? So that's like one of those things where it's like, man,
that was the big thing they sold me on Car Mechanic 2021 was the fact you walk out of your garage, you walk around when you get shit like you get a car wash here, you get your dyno and paint spray booth out here, and parts like junk parts you can turn them into scrap. That you can use that scrap to upgrade parts. You're not opening your box and getting handed a bunch of fucking random parts for vehicles. Parts for vehicles you're probably never gonna put together, and then they just sit there in your damn warehouse collecting dust. And then over in here you get your whole workshop where you can tear apart engines and rebuild them, repair parts and body parts. You even get like a little lathe that you can redo your brake pads on, not brake pads, brake discs and stuff on.
Yeah,
like I can't walk in there because I don't have that area open, but of course, I mean you get your Widowmaker.
A lot of the stuff that they did add
tire
to this is really cool. My only gripe with Car Mechanic is that we don't have the licensed vehicles on here. It's all the GTA style cars where it's like made up names that are kind of referenced to the real thing. That's my only gripe with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, getting those license, I mean,
the DLC to get the licensed cars in.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of money. But yeah, that's
18 had them all. So we just gotta give them time.
Yeah.
Also, the weird thing is too. So Car Mechanic 2018 is still getting DLC.
Why is they giving DLC to 18 when we got 2021 out? Should be working
know.
on the DLC for 2021 and
well, if they
working
had
on
a
the next
license
one
deal,
like 2023 or something, you know.
From what I know of like behind the scenes stuff of like how game development works, they probably had license deals still on the table, and the publisher told them, hey, we want a new game out because 2018's hot, so put that new game out so we can sell the new game, and they're still trying to finish off the license orders because they got to photograph all the pieces and parts, and they got to make sure that there's no bugs or glitches that are like, okay, I screw in this over here, and the back of the card just flies off or something. You don't want anything like that happening. So you gotta. That's what they probably end up.
It'd be really funny if they add in like comical little things, like you're sitting there working on like the fuse box or something. You plug something in wrong, you get zapped. Like, ah!
yeah. I mean, because that would be
stupid little things like you snap a bolt.
Realistic,
you snap a bolt off, or or you got a chance of losing a fucking socket down the engine bay. Oh my god.
You lose a screw or something, or a screw pops out and it lands on it. It's like you're tung 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 to the engine bay, and the message pops up that says
you're in there pulling the frickin' the engine cover off, the head cover off, and your 10mm socket falls down the engine bay, and you gotta lift the car up and go look underneath it for it. We all know that pain.
I just want to I want to put a battery on the battery charger, and all of a sudden the lights start dimming one time. Just every once in a while,
Oh my god, no, that would be perfect. Getting shocked with the electric cars. Like,
you know what I would like to see as like a DLC possibly for Car
disconnect the power source or whatever, you get zapped.
Some movie cars, like iconic movie cars, have that as
like
a
Mad
DLC
Max, Max car, the Batmobile,
Mad Max car, Batmobile kit, the General Lee, maybe. I mean, that's a touchy subject there. Herbie.
I don't know about Herbie.
The Ghostbusters car.
Herbie would sit there and probably throw a shit fit at you the entire time.
You go unscrew a tire and it starts sitting there. Ooh, that tickles.
But yeah.
But oh my god, the mystery machine!
Okay,
wow,
mystery mobile. But yeah, simulator games. They're out there. They're fun. They're educational, and I mean, I'm not saying go out to run out there and grab this game or that game. I'm just saying go out and check them out. There's some out there that are fucking hilarious.
PlayStation Plus, or PlayStation Now. Sorry, if you have PlayStation Now, you can check out Car Mechanic.
2018
on
for
that.
For $10 a month.
But still, it's there.
But
and let's see here, Flight Sim, that is available on Game Pass on the Xbox side of things. So there is a couple of them out there. PC Builder, that's been free on different platforms every once in a while. That is the other thing is to keep an eye on sales, because simulators go on sale a lot. They go often. They're on sale for like half off. So
the calendar is actually correct.
And they're always getting updates. That's one of those things. Dude, these games get a ton of updates for even if they're not doing well, they still seem to get updates somehow. I don't know how they pull that off for funding wise, but yeah, car mechanic, very fun. Like I said, definitely extensively check out simulation games though, because sometimes, you know, tank mechanic looks to be just like this. And like I said, when you get into it and actually start thinking around with stuff, it doesn't feel anything like that.
Always do yourself a big favor. Like he's
one of those weird ones.
Wolf's told me, like, anything, just any game in general that's coming out or has been out, and you think it's like, yeah, cool, I want to check it out. Go on YouTube, find like a gameplay review. I wouldn't even say review, just a gameplay video, and check it.
Highly recommend going to Twitch and checking out a full-on live stream, and like as long as they're actually playing the game and not just talking nonstop.
Yeah.
I know, ironically, that's what we're doing right now, but
well, that's what game talks are about.
I know. It's just kind of ironic that I just said that. But yes, you know, if you're, because also on Twitch you can kind of ask the streamer, you know, I mean, you can ask them the age-old question of, is it worth it? But you can also ask them, okay, so how does the menus work? How does, you know, all this stuff function in here? And 9 times out of 10, a streamer should be really willing to go through the whole thing and show you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I guess that should about wrap this one up. Right. So, if you are watching this currently right now live, give me about 2-3 minutes. I'm going to be firing up another Game Talk live. Otherwise, you know, keep your eye peeled on YouTube, because it'll be coming up. It'll be, I think I'm planning on doing Watch Dogs Legion next. I haven't beat the game, but I played enough of it to be able to go, you know.
It's going to be very hard for me not to spoil anything.
Yeah. But, yeah. So that's the end of this Game Talk Live about simulators. You know where to catch me on Twitch and Twitter at Frost_Bite84, and at YouTube at Frostbite. Warwolf, you can find him at Warwolf across everything. And he's even got this other one where he thinks he's good at playing a guitar, but I don't know.
It's just amateur hour,
he seems,
you know?
like I think he's just got somebody else playing, and he's just acting like he's playing. That's called Tone Wolf. Hopefully here, personally, like, I picked up a bass. I'm just starting to learn. It's gonna be a good while, but eventually maybe I might, you know, be showing up there on Tone Wolf, jamming out with him. He's
got a few steps to go. I got 20 years of experience on him.
Yeah, I've got a ways to go. Like, I just picked it up, started playing. Like, I'm still getting my fingers loosened up to play.
He doesn't even have his foot pedal working yet. It's a whole.
Fucked with it. I'm more worried about learning. I'm more worried about being able to actually play than fucking with a foot pedal. But yeah, like I said, give me about 3 minutes, probably even less than that, and we'll be back up with Game Talk on Watch Dogs Legion. So, till next time, stay frosty.